and it looked like new information has been revealed about Caitlin Clark's future contract with the Indiana Fever.
Everyone assumes Caitlin Clark is living like a queen, cashing million-dollar checks from her WNBA contract. But the truth is a closely guarded secret, a shocking number that exposes the dark reality of her position in the league. While the media celebrated her arrival as a savior, the official contract she signed with the Indiana Fever revealed a jaw-droppingly low figure. For her first year, Clark is making just $76,535. That number ignited a firestorm across the country, with everyone from die-hard fans to the President of the United States expressing disbelief. How could the single most transformative player in the history of the sport, someone single-handedly selling out arenas and driving record-breaking TV ratings, be earning less than a mid-level accountant? The 4-year deal totals just over $338,000. Figure that pales in comparison to her male counterparts in the NBA, where the #1 pick signed for over $55 million. This stunning pay gap wasn't just a contractual detail, it was the first sign that the WNBA establishment might not be ready to embrace its new superstar. But as insulting as that salary was, it was only the beginning of the disrespect she would face.
Telling everybody, Caitlin Clark's new contract is already in the works, bruh. The Indiana Fever is not wasting no time with making sure they dot their I's and cross all the T's when it comes to keeping Caitlin Clark on this Indiana Fever basketball.
While her official WNBA salary is almost laughably small, Caitlin Clark's real power operates in a different financial universe. Before she even played a single professional game, she had already built a colossal endorsement empire, a rumored $28 million 8-year deal with Nike, complete with her own signature shoe, placed her in the same stratosphere as legends like Michael Jordan and LeBron James. On top of that, she inked massive deals with Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson, making her one of the most commercially successful athletes on the planet, regardless of gender. This financial independence is her secret weapon. She doesn't need the WNBA's paycheck to survive. The league, however, desperately needs her. This immense power held by a rookie created a dangerous dynamic within the league. She was an outsider who had bypassed the traditional path to stardom, and the veterans who had clawed for every dollar and every bit of recognition for years were not about to roll out the red carpet. They saw her not as a teammate in growing the game, but as an existential threat to their place in it.
Now we know she's still on a rookie contract for the next couple years, but one thing I can tell you that I know definitively is that the organization is working on a massive contract for Caitlin Clark's future contract.
From her very first preseason game, it was brutally clear that Caitlin Clark had a massive target on her back. This wasn't the typical welcome to the league treatment, it was different. The shoves were harder, the screens were more punishing, and the trash talk was personal. On-court footage showed opponents physically bumping her, elbowing her, and trying to get into her head at every opportunity. The message from the league's old guard was unmistakable. You may have the fame and the endorsements, but in our house, you are nothing. They viewed her as a media darling who hadn't earned her stripes, and they seemed determined to humble her, to prove that she couldn't handle the physicality of the professional game. This wasn't just about winning or losing. It was a psychological war designed to break her down and assert dominance over the new face of their sport. This simmering hostility was a ticking time bomb, and it was about to explode in a moment that would shame the entire league.
Now, we know Caitlin Clark is ultimately going to be the person to yay or nay whatever solution they come up with, so they got to do everything in their best interest to get ahead of this thing way before it ever comes up. So word on the street is that the Indiana Fever is putting together proposals and putting together different things under the WNBA rules that they can for Caitlin Clark's new contract.
The undeclared war against Caitlin Clark reached its infamous climax during a game against the Chicago Sky. In a moment that would live on in sports infamy, Chicago's Chennedy Carter, while waiting for the ball to be inbounded, delivered a vicious blindside shoulder check to an unsuspecting Clark, sending her flying to the hardwood. The hit was cheap, it was away from the play, and it was undeniably intentional. To make matters worse, hot mics caught Carter on the bench yelling, "Yeah, you little beach," leaving no doubt about the malice behind the attack. In a truly stunning display of incompetence, or perhaps something worse, the referees on the floor failed to even call it a flagrant foul, treating it like a common basketball play. The incident immediately went viral, and the public outrage was deafening. Fans saw it as definitive proof that not only were players targeting Clark, but the league itself was refusing to protect its most valuable asset.
All of this is about getting Caitlin Clark new contract done. They get her contract done, seal and deliver the future of this organization.
The fallout from the Jamie Carter foul was even more revealing than the act itself. In the post-game press conference, Carter repeatedly refused to answer any questions about Caitlin Clark, staring blankly at reporters with a defiant smirk. Her coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, stood by her, claiming she didn't know what happened and deflecting from the dirty play. The WNBA, facing a public relations nightmare, remained silent for nearly a full day before public pressure forced them to upgrade the foul to a flagrant one. But the damage was already done. The league's slow, weak response sent a chilling message. This kind of behavior was, if not explicitly endorsed, at least tolerated. It emboldened the players who resented Clark and solidified the belief among fans that the league was more interested in protecting its veteran cliques than nurturing its generational superstar. This code of silence revealed a rotten culture at the heart of the league, one that was now being exposed for the entire world to see. The Carter incident ripped the WNBA in two, igniting a civil war that played out on social media and across sports talk shows. A clear line was drawn in the sand. On one side, current and former players like Angel Reese and Le'Veon Bell defended the physicality, dismissing the hit as just part of the game and suggesting Clark needed to toughen up. They framed the criticism as a product of race and media bias, arguing that other players endure the same treatment without the same level of public outcry. On the other side, analysts and basketball legends like Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller condemned the act, calling it a cheap shot and warning that the league was on the verge of destroying its golden goose. They argued that players were letting their jealousy get the best of them, actively harming the business and the future of the sport out of personal resentment. This public war of words showed that the conflict was no longer just on the court. It was a battle for the soul and direction of the entire WNBA. Just as the WNBA seemed to be tearing itself apart from the inside, a powerful figure from outside the basketball establishment made a move that could change the game forever. Hip-hop legend and Big 3 League founder Ice Cube dropped a bombshell. He publicly offered Caitlin Clark a staggering $5 million contract to play just 10 games in his 3-on-3 league. This wasn't merely a publicity stunt, it was a strategic masterstroke. The offer, which was more than 10 times her entire 4-year WNBA contract, brutally exposed the league's insulting pay scale. More importantly, it gave Caitlin Clark a golden escape hatch. Suddenly, she had a choice. She didn't have to put up with the low pay, the on-court assaults, and the public disrespect. She could walk away, join a league that would pay her what she was worth, and take her millions of fans with her. The WNBA was officially put on notice. Their biggest star now had all the leverage, and a powerful rival was waiting with open arms if they continued to fumble the bag. As if the on-court attacks and league politics weren't enough, the next blow came from the highest level of the sport in a decision that can only be described as one of the most baffling snubs in sports history. Caitlin Clark was officially left off the Team USA roster for the Paris Olympics. The announcement sent shockwaves far beyond the world of basketball. The official explanation from the selection committee was that she lacked the necessary experience playing with the senior national team, but nobody was buying it. It was a flimsy excuse to exclude the most popular and talked about basketball player on the planet from the world's biggest stage. The public backlash was immediate and fierce. Fans, media, and even casual observers saw the decision for what it was, a slap in the face. It was viewed as an act of gatekeeping by a small, insulated group of insiders who were more concerned with protecting their turf than with growing the game and winning in the most entertaining way possible. In the days following the Olympic snub, the real reasons began to leak out from behind the curtain, and the story they told was one of petty jealousy and fear. Insiders revealed that several veteran players on Team USA felt a deep-seated animosity toward Clark. They were reportedly concerned that her immense popularity would hijack the team, turning the quest for a gold medal into the Caitlin Clark show. There were whispers that players feared their own fans would turn on them if Clark was on the bench or didn't get enough playing time, creating a toxic and unmanageable media circus. Essentially, the old guard was afraid of being overshadowed. The decision was not about talent or team chemistry. It was a political maneuver to keep the new star in her place. This alleged conspiracy to keep her off the team was the ultimate betrayal, proving that the resentment toward her ran all the way to the top of the sports establishment. Faced with this relentless multi-front war against their superstar, the Indiana Fever organization finally realized they were in a state of emergency. Their franchise player was being physically brutalized, financially undervalued by the league, and politically exiled by the national team. They understood that they could not afford to sit back and wait for her 4-year rookie deal to expire. The risk of her walking away was too great. Consequently, new information has now been revealed that the Fever is already working in secret, years ahead of schedule, to assemble a massive, unprecedented contract extension for Clark. They are reportedly exploring every possible avenue under the WNBA's rules to put together a proposal so overwhelming that it would be impossible to refuse. This isn't a standard business negotiation. It's a desperate act of preservation. The Fever is scrambling to build a financial and emotional fortress around their golden goose, hoping to prove to her that, while the rest of the league may be hostile, Indiana will be her sanctuary. The entire WNBA is now at a historic crossroads, and its future rests on the shoulders of one 22-year-old woman. Caitlin Clark has been subjected to a systematic campaign of disrespect, a laughably low salary, constant physical attacks on the court, public criticism from her peers, and a shocking betrayal by the Olympic Committee. Yet she holds all the cards. With a massive endorsement empire, a multi-million-dollar offer from a rival league, and the unwavering support of millions of fans, she has the power to dictate her own terms. The question that looms over the sport is no longer if she can survive the league, but if the league can survive without her. Will she choose to stay, endure the hostility, and fight to reshape the WNBA from within? Or will she decide that she's had enough, walk away from the chaos, and build her own empire elsewhere, leaving the very institution that tried to break her to crumble in her wake? The choice is hers, and it will define the future of women's basketball for generations to come.